What's up, everyone? Thomas here with ForReel, and we are headed back to Sundance. I certainly cannot wait to be back in the winter wonderland that is Park City to experience the energy of yet another in-person film festival. So it'll be great to be back at Sundance, and I am super excited to talk about what we're looking forward to. And so to do that, I have gathered a few people, a couple ForReel members, and a good friend of mine, so that we could talk about it. First up, if you've watched our content before, then this is probably going to be a familiar face for you. He's one of our most avid film festival attendees, cranking out movie reviews and filmmaker interviews and celebrity red carpet conversations, one of which is with Jenna Ortega and has like over 300,000 views on our channel. So, ready for another round of Sundance, we have Marty Millman.
Hello, cannot wait to be back in Park City.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Next up, we have our newest member of the ForReel team who helped us cover midnight films at TIFF last year and is now regularly publishing movie reviews for the site. This is his first time attending Sundance, and I personally cannot wait for him to have this experience and to see what content he publishes from it. So, joining us from Toronto, we have Luca Mehta.
Hello, everybody. Very excited for my first Sundance ever.
Going to be really cool. I cannot wait for you to get there.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. So not only is it fun to discover great films at festivals like Sundance, but it's also really cool to discover great people. And our special guest today is one of those great people that I got to meet last year at Sundance. He is a film enthusiast and a filmmaker with his first short film currently available to watch on YouTube called In Robbie's Words. So, covering the festival for Utah Stories magazine, I am happy to introduce you to Matthew Pyne.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me, Thomas.
Is this your first time covering the festival as accredited press?
This will be my second in-person festival, first time as a press member.
Yeah, I was excited when you told me that you were attending as press. I was like, yeah, we can go to press screenings together.
I,
Um,
I was like, well, I work for a magazine. I could probably get a press pass, right?
yeah, of course, of course. I'm happy that worked out for you. Was there anything else that really inspired you to attend the festival as press this year as opposed to just an attendee?
Just to get that inside access, I actually moved 2 years ago from Pennsylvania to Utah, not only to become a filmmaker in my own right, but also to be close to Sundance. So anytime I can either attend virtually, in person, what have you, I'm just excited to be there.
Excited to be able to hang out with you again. Luca,
Yep.
your first time at Sundance.
Yeah,
What
can't say that I'm not nervous.
I know. Well, see, it's interesting because you're based in
Mhm.
Toronto, and so your
Yeah.
home festival is TIFF, where we got to hang out, and of course you helped cover some of those midnight titles. I was curious about what you're expecting from Sundance, kind of with that TIFF background.
Well, TIFF, well, at least from my experience, I've been going, the first one I went to was in 2021. So I'm excited to go a little smaller at Sundance. And I'm also looking forward because there's a lot more documentaries at Sundance. And I kind of want to branch out into that field a lot more. Because when it's TIFF season, you're kind of going for all like the really big names. But since most of the names at Sundance are pretty small, then it gives me a very good opportunity to cast a wide net and listen and pay attention to some stories that I wouldn't have paid attention to had I not, or had they like came to TIFF or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Sundance is just the king of documentaries. Every year they have
Yeah,
documentaries getting
I'm
nominated for
excited.
awards.
Especially the Christopher Reeve documentary seems very interesting.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of interest in that one. So very cool. Marty, my like right hand man at these film festivals. I'm so excited we get to hang out again.
Yeah, can't wait.
Um, you've been doing this for a little bit now, and it's kind of it's a fun experience every time. But I was wondering, with this Sundance, was there anything new or different that you wanted to add to this experience?
Well, I feel like last year I was like so green that I was like, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do everything. And I saw so many movies. I literally like jam-packed myself until I was like brain melting. So like this year, I'm like taking things slower, going to try to branch out more, go to more events, try to do more red carpets, more interviews, just spread myself in more directions instead of just try to pack as many movies in as possible.
It is nice that we have that virtual component on the second half of the festival, so that while we're at Sundance, we can focus on, you know, the things that we can see in person, and of course take advantage of those opportunities for press lines and interviews, or events, whatever we're going to do in person. So yeah, it's going to be great. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Let's jump into talking about movies at Sundance. I want to start off. Now, we all chose three movies that we're really excited for. I know there's some kind of crossovers with most anticipated films. We're going to get into that in a minute, but I want to start with a special mention for a film that is debuting at Sundance, and it's called It's What's Inside, from director, writer Greg Jardin. The synopsis reads: a pre-wedding party descends into an existential nightmare when an estranged friend shows up with a mysterious suitcase. So much mystery here. Guys, who has this movie on your radar?
It wasn't on my radar, but now I mean, is it a midnight screening? Because I feel like I've actually been interested in this one.
I'm pretty sure it's a midnight screening.
Yeah, you know, this one's been on my watch list. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a midnight screening, so that's my thing, right?
Midnight, yep. Anyone else have this one on their radar?
All the horrors. I've got all the horrors, all the queer films, every single one on my radar.
Very cool. There's a couple of things that caught my attention about this. And one of which is that it stars actor, writer, and director James Morosini, who I had the opportunity to talk with after the debut of his film, I Love My Dad. And so it was cool getting to talk with him about continuing to do the filmmaking thing. And now I get to see him as an actor for something he's not directing. Looking forward to seeing him in this movie. The interview that I did is online. I'll put that link in the description as well. But the other thing that caught my attention about this movie is who's producing it. A part of the producing credits is Raul Coleman, and as a executive producer is Domingo Coleman, who is currently having a whirlwind of a few months because he was just in Rooston, the Color Purple, and also Sing Sing. Those are two names that I'm really interested, that have me extra interested in this movie, having them attached as producers.
Yeah, and there's also a rumor too. I don't know how, if it's unfounded or not, that Coleman Domingo might actually be entering the MCU pretty soon.
Very
I did
cool.
hear that actually.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I wonder in what role. Huh.
Well, there is a role available, so
That's why I started laughing. We'll see what direction the MCU takes in the wake of that whole situation. But it's a cool little rumor. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
All right, guys. So we're gonna jump into talking about our favorite movies. Again, like I said, there's probably crossover, so I'm confident we're all going to be able to participate in this conversation. But Matt, as our special guest, let's start with your number three choice here. What's your number three most anticipated movie at Sundance?
My number three is called The OUTRUN. It stars Saoirse Ronan, and I'll give you a little synopsis. After living life on the edge in London, Rona attempts to come to terms with her troubled past. She returns to the wild beauty of Scotland, where she grew up, hoping to heal. This is adapted from a best-selling memoir from Amy Liptrot. Very excited for this one just because I'm just a gigantic Saoirse Ronan fan, ever since really Lady Bird, Brooklyn before that, but really Lady Bird. So basically any new film that she's in, I'm going to be first in line for. And this looks like a little bit more of a quiet type film, but I'm looking for that kind of dramatic presence from her.
Yeah. Anyone else have this one on their radar? Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I mean, it's Saoirse Ronan, you know?
Yeah, so sure.
Yeah, I think anyone who saw that she's got a film at Sundance was like, okay, favorite star, everything.
Oh yeah. Everything that she's in, it instantly catches my attention. And I can't say that I like all the movies that she's in, but I think that her role is always so well done. And I mean, we've mentioned like Lady Bird, Brooklyn. Little Women was good. And just a whole bunch of things. I
There's
still
a
have to
new one
see.
with Paul Mescal, but I haven't seen it.
Oh
But
yeah, Foe.
Oh,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just about to say Foe is one that I have not seen
great.
yet. But I'm looking forward to, again, because of the cast. And I think that she's going to do a great job in that, and certainly has the outrun on my radar as well. So this one is screening in person only. So if you're attending Sundance, that is your one chance to be able to see it, during the festival. So, all right, Luca, what's your number three film?
Well, my number three is something I've seen already, but they don't feel like releasing it for whatever reason. It's Richard Linklater's Hitman. It was one of my favorite movies of 2023, and I guess it's going to be one of my favorite movies of 2024. Uh, it's such a good movie that it leaves me speechless. I mean, it's Richard Linklater. He's the best, but I think what sells this movie is the sheer star power of Glenn Powell. He is the best ever. I love him, and I'm so excited for people to see this movie if Netflix actually feels like releasing it.
Yeah, it's super interesting because Glenn Powell, what's that movie he has out now?
Anyone
Anyone
but
but
you.
Anyone
yeah.
but you.
I'm pretty sure that's what everyone thinks of with Glenn Powell, or kind of like these like cheeky, I don't know, non-serious kind of films. He's done a couple action movies, obviously with um I almost said Mission Impossible.
Tom
Uh
Cruise.
Top Gun.
Top
With
Gun.
Top Gun.
Okay.
He was also in. I'm just spacing on
Everybody
names now.
wants some.
Yeah. So like, I think that that's what people first comes to mind when they think of Glenn Powell. And I guess I can't say that because I had the chance to see it at TIFF as well. And it makes me happy that you have it on your list,
I'm
Luca,
so
because
excited.
this is one that people need their attention on. And so yeah, I think this is still a fun kind of film, but I think it'll alter how people see Glenn Powell as,
Absolutely.
when it comes to being an
People need to
actor.
go back and see him in Scream Queens because just the sheer audacity and silliness that he gives there, it's just gotten more and more refined. And at the end of Hitman, when you see that it's co-written by him, it made me love the film like that much more because I'm like,
Yeah.
he really is
Yeah.
in it. He's like invested. He's put 110%. And I was like,
Yeah.
he's my new it guy, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't put a finger on it, but you kind of did that very well. I think I love Hitman so much as a movie because it's clear how much fun Glenn Powell is having with it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just having a blast.
Mhm.
And as a result, we as an audience get to have a
Yes.
blast. So
I think the only thing is that like whenever I tell anybody about Hitman, and it's just like a raving review, and then somebody asks me, well, where can I watch it? Then my heart kind of sinks a little bit.
this is
I don't
this is
know.
right. This is the one thing about festivals. And I mean, I've said it before, but like Netflix, I love you, but can we please get this in theaters? Like,
They said that they're going to do some theatrical release, so I'm guessing it might be similar to what they did with Glass Onion, where it was like maybe
mm,
like a few days to like a week in theaters and then just run on Netflix. Because I feel like this would be such a good summer blockbuster,
it would
like
be.
Absolutely.
such a good summer blockbuster. But
It would be. Netflix's marketing team, I hope they're on it. I hope they have a strategy, and that we get to see this, we get to get this to the public in theaters. Matt, have we yet sold you on Hitman?
Oh, you didn't need to sell me. I was already. This was my number one targeted movie actually, because my friend is flying out from West Virginia. This will be his first Sundance,
Nice.
and we both love Tarantino movies, John Woo movies. I don't know if Hitman's like of that ilk, but this was the number one movie we circled, and we're definitely seeing it for sure.
It's
Awesome.
like a deconstruction of Pulp Fiction or a John Wick type.
Cool, that'd be great.
Good way of putting it, for sure. All right, Marty, what's your number three most anticipated?
my number three is Thelma. So I first saw that June Squibb is going to be in this. I love her. I think she's hysterical. So the premise is she plays a woman named Thelma Post. She's a 93-year-old woman and she gets scammed by one of those like phone calls saying like, "Oh, I'm your grandson. I need some money." So she goes out on a little journey trying to figure out who scammed her and get her money back. And it's got some great names attached to it, like one of my favorite comedians of all time, Parker Posey. It's got Nicole Byer, Malcolm McDowell, like amazing cast. I know it's just going to be laugh out loud hysterical. And it's a feature directorial debut for Josh Margolin. So I feel like this is just going to be a big hit out of the park for him.
Yeah, you put this on your list, and I had seen the title, but I didn't really look into it too much. But when I was compiling the notes, I started reading the synopsis, and I was like, all right, Marty's onto something here. This looks like a good one. Um, and I like that it's a feature directorial debut. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. Um, Anyone else have Thelma on their radar?
I actually didn't know that Parker Posey was in it, so now I have even more of a reason to watch it. But I've always, I don't know, I have a real big tenacity towards character actors, like the non-celebrities, but when they show up in a movie, they're always welcome. And I feel like June Squibb is that for me. I mean, the first thing I saw her in was Alexander Payne's Nebraska, and she completely stole the show. I had so much fun, and to see her like headlining a movie, that's, I mean, that's like the best news ever to me. I'm so excited to see what she can do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just to piggyback off Luca, Nebraska's in my top 10 or 15 favorite movies ever. And June Squibb is probably the reason why, just because her screen presence, the comedy she brings to that film, that quite honestly needs it at certain points. I think this is like a hilariously awesome role for her to be in her 90s, like a revenge movie. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad that that's on my radar now. Um,
Thomas, what's your third most anticipated film?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Let me tell you, I as soon when the schedule was released and I was looking through the titles, this title doesn't stand out, but everything else about it does, and it's called Love Me. It's already an award winner. It's already won the Alfred P. Sloan Featured Film Prize. And it is a directorial debut by Sam and Andy Zakuro. Um, and the synopsis just really quickly reads long after humanity's extinction, a buoy and a satellite meet online and fall in love. Like that already is like super interesting to me.
How is
But
this the first I'm hearing of this?
oh, just wait. On top of that, the cast is Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun. Yeah, perk up. Absolutely.
How am I hearing about this now?
Yeah.
What?
It is available in person and online. So go lock down your online press ticket if you have not yet. But on top of that, the producing team is attached to other incredible films like Christine, I can't pronounce her name properly, D'Souza Galeb, who also produced Resurrection, Bodies, 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 Earth Mama, Past Lives, and another Sundance 2024 film, Little Death. Connor Flanagan produced Wander Darkly, one of my a favorite film of mine. Also Hitman is attached to that, and another Sundance film winner, which will be at the 2024 festival. So there's so much working in favor of this film on top of that super intriguing little log line that they have of this as the synopsis. Uh Instantly like a must see for me. So I'm excited that that'll be available online for those who will have access to that. And yeah, love me. Who else is interested in that one?
I've got it scheduled to try to see it in the festival. I already have my
Mhm.
online ticket. It's one of those where I know I'm gonna want to see this a few times.
Yeah,
That sounds like
absolutely.
so much fun. I'm really excited for that now.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Steven Yeun's been on quite a run here in the last few years with Nope and Beef, and one of my favorite films, Burning. So I'm really excited to see him in more of the sci-fi realm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lots going for this movie. Really quickly, just to share in Hitman will be in person only at Sundance. If you're in Park City or Salt Lake City, check out one of those screenings in person. Thelma will be in person and online for the public. So there is that. All right, Matt, coming right back around to you. What's your number two most anticipated film?
My number two is Handling the Undead. This is a film out of Norway with my girl Renata Reinsve. This is one of the few Sundance selections that has a trailer already that people can view, kind of a 2-minute preview of the film. The synopsis reads: On a hot summer day in Oslo, the newly dead awaken. Three families faced with loss try to figure out what this resurrection means and if their loved ones are really back. Yeah, couldn't be more excited for this. I'm not, full transparency, I'm not a horror guy at all. I don't go out of my way to watch horror. But if Renata Reinsve is in it, then I will be there.
Do we know if it's a horror film?
Yes.
It is a zombie movie.
Action zombie movie, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a jump scary horror movie, but it fits.
Yeah, because it's in the World Cinema Dramatic Competition, which I mean doesn't necessarily mean it's not a horror film, but I do wonder if it has more dramatic beats. I haven't watched the trailer yet, so I guess that could be an indicator for anyone who does want to get a little preview on that one. Marty, you've already reacted. I'm sure this is on your on your list.
Well, it was originally, or from what I heard, supposed to come out in December of last year. So like it was on my most anticipated for 2023. And the director of it, she was, I think, assistant director, or she did some work on the film Thelma, which is also directed by the guy who did Worst Person in the World. So like she's definitely been like has experience, and this is her first time directing, and I feel like she's gonna knock it out of the park. I've got such high hopes for this one.
Yeah. Luca, what do you think?
I think, well, I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm very tired of zombie movies, but this is a Sundance zombie movie
Mhm.
and not like a Netflix zombie movie. So there's a very big disconnect. And I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to do with the zombie, like just the subgenre. Like I think the Romero Dawn of the Dead movies, or just the insert of the dead, they're very good, like just as horror movies, but they're also very socially conscious. And I like leaning into the more socially conscious side of zombies because at the end of the day, these are still people.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, very interesting one. Yeah, Marty, I think I remember you talking about this one some months ago, and so I'm excited that it's at Sundance. It will be playing in person and online for the public. So that sounds like it's a pretty accessible one, and it could be a really good one. So, all right, Luca, what is your number two most anticipated film?
So my number two most anticipated is a French Canadian and Haitian film, and it's the directorial debut by this Haitian director named Bruno Maral. And off the title alone, it was instantly in my running because the title is called Kidnapping Incorporated. And the whole gist is that there's these two guys, and they're like professional in air quotes. They're kidnappers for hire, and they end up stumbling on a government conspiracy. And that's all there is about the plot synopsis, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Anyone else come across this one and have it on your radar?
I got
Didn't
the
have it.
virtual one for this one, so it's on my list to possibly see. We'll see how virtual screenings go. But yeah.
Hmm. I think that I mean it's a midnight film, which is pretty cool. Always looking forward to midnight selections. Feature directorial debut, so it is in person only for the public, but for fellow press, there is online availability for this one. So yeah, it will be interesting to see if I can get around to it. I saw it and was kind of looking over it, and it's interesting. So depending on the buzz and depending on the time that I have, I think we might be able to squeeze this one in.
It's
So
vague enough for me to be interested, but it's not like vague to the point where it's just like something I want to write off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So just on that line of like,
Mhm.
this is interesting. There's something here. Let's see where it goes. Marty, your number two most anticipated.
My number two is called Ponyboy. So what caught me at first was the synopsis. It's a intersex sex worker is running from the mob on Valentine's Day in New Jersey, and a big drug deal goes sideways, and I was like, okay. And then I looked at the cast. It's got Victoria Peretti, India Moore, Murray Bartlett, Dylan O'Brien, and then the star of the film, River Gallo, is also the writer. So I feel like this will be handled very well. There seems to be a lot of really interesting queer stories coming to Sundance this year, but this one to me just stood out the most. So I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, this was one that again when I was compiling the notes, I started looking a little deeper at it, and for all the reasons that you said, the cast, the fact that the lead actor is also the writer, you know, there's a lot, well, a lot working in favor for this film. Anyone else have Ponyboy on your on your radar?
Yeah, I saw the synopsis and I still maintain that it's probably the most interesting synopsis of the festival, just because of how rare it is to have, I mean, an intersex protagonist A and a sex worker protagonist B. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like this
Hmm.
could be a very interesting. I mean, it sounds like a thriller, but it's definitely going to be more than that.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Matt, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, and I just think it's really cool that River Gallo is starring and wrote as well, because then you know that their heart is really in the film, and they probably know the best way to tell the story. So I'm very excited for this one.
Very cool. Well, my number two most anticipated film is called The Mugai. Um, it is written and directed by John Bell. Feature directorial debut. Synopsis reads: A young Aboriginal couple bring home their second baby. What should be a joyous time takes a sinister turn as the mother starts seeing a malevolent spirit she is convinced is trying to take her baby. So fascinating synopsis, but on top of that, it's produced by the team that produced The Babadook. And I mean, you know, you don't need to say any more. I'm sold on it. But on top of that, I also realized that this is also the producing team that's also worked on Goran Stilevsky films, and I really like Goran Stilevsky's storytelling. So movies like You Won't Be Alone, Of an Age. This team also worked on Talk to Me, which is another Australian horror film. So all the credits are aligning in this movie for it to be, I don't know, maybe the next Babadook. Um, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes too high, but I have high expectations for it. So, um, any thoughts on the Mugai?
Yeah, I saw it in just while I was searching up films or whatever. It's actually in my star. Just tickets didn't drop for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, especially after Prey came out, I'm going all in on like Indigenous and Aboriginal horror. Give me all of it. I want
Mm-hmm.
more.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other
I
thoughts on this?
saw one Aboriginal horror film years ago called The Nightingale, and
Yeah.
it was intense. And so when I read the synopsis for this one, I was really intrigued, and it's definitely up there, like in my interest
I'm
for the
pretty sure there
festival.
are producers from the Nightingale on this one too. So like
Makes sense.
all everyone is just coming together for this movie. And like I said, the credits are really aligning for this one. Matt, is this on your radar?
Uh, with it being horror, probably not going to be on my radar, but
That's
I
fair.
may check it out. We'll see. But it's exciting to see, you know, that it won the short grand jury award at South by Southwest 2021. I love when shorts get turned into features and then debut at Sundance. Whiplash had the
Hmm.
same thing happen to them. So yeah, I'm excited for people to see it, maybe even if I don't see it myself.
Yeah, very cool. Um, sorry, I missed Ponyboy. Ponyboy is going to be screening in person and online for the public. The MOOGAI, however, will be in person for the public, but online for press. So, yeah, plan accordingly. All right, this is going to be fun. So actually, um I'm going to upset the order really quick and go ahead and say what my most anticipated film is, because you three lined up three A24 films, and I wouldn't want to interrupt the sequence of A24. So I'm just going to jump in and say that my most anticipated film at this point is Sasquatch Sunset, directed by David Zellner and Nathan Zellner, written by them as well. It's in the premieres program. And again, very, very simple synopsis. A year in the life of a singular family. Now, this might be one of those that's a little bit too ambiguous, but I think that there are qualities about the film that has me super intrigued. One of which being that Ari Aster is executive producer, and suddenly I am super interested. It also stars Jesse Eisenberg. It's a Bleecker Street film. It's only playing in person, and so this very quickly creeped up to like my. I think this is going to be that one. At least I'm hoping this will be the one that I really, really resonate with. And it's nice that it's not giving too much away in the synopsis and in what we know about it right now. And I think that that's really setting my expectations in a good place. Jesse Eisenberg is also, of course, at the festival for his sophomore film, Real Pain. So he is going to be doing work at the festival. I'm sure representing both films, and it's really cool to see him so involved with Sundance after premiering his film. Um, when you finish saving, nope, yeah, when you finish saving the world.
When I finish saving the world.
Yeah. What was that? Either last year or the year before last?
I think it was last year.
Last year, yeah. So yeah, this one, like I said, will be in person only. Who else has Sasquatch Sunset on your radar?
I
I'm very
think it's going to be
interested.
a sleeper hit. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a sleeper hit.
Yeah,
It's
big
got Riley
expectations.
Keough in, or Riley Keough. So like, I don't know, all of her films, I feel like have this, they're either, I don't know, have a quiet impact. Every single one of her films hits me in a way. And she just did a minor role in another Jesse Eisenberg film. Can't remember what it's called, but he's like some gym rat. And I don't know, but I like they've worked together in at least a scene before, so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they'll have some rapport going.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Luca, you said you're excited for this one too.
Yeah, I'm just really feeling this new era of Jesse Eisenberg. I'm really glad that and this is like not really a criticism for his early career, it's just more of a pattern that he was always like, at least in his early career, like post Social Network and towards like, I don't know, like Batman versus Superman. He can really never get out of the Zuckerberg,
Mm-hmm.
but now he's leaning out of it, and I'm excited to see what he does from there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, he's starring in Sasquatch Sunset, but like I said, he also has a sophomore film at Sundance, and so
Hmm.
seeing him grow as a filmmaker, but also continue, doing these other, projects that end up at Sundance. It really is cool to kind of see where his career is going, and seeing him break out of that typecast that I think. At least, I know what you're talking about when you say like the Zuckerberg. I think he really got I don't know, pigeonholed, I guess, but there is a certain um quality to his acting that you kind of just expected every time. And
Yeah.
I think he's broken out of that. And this is a part of that growth in his career. So Matt, any comments on Sasquatch Sunset?
Yeah, I mean, like we were just talking about, I think it's exciting when those serious actors really break out into directing and filmmaking. I think of like Paul Dano and Chiwetel Ejiofor, who has a selection at this year's Sundance. And then with Ari Aster, obviously, this film's going to be original. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So Sasquatch Sunset's in person only at the festival. So that is your opportunity to see it. Okay, now that I've upset the order, let's go to Marty. Marty, what is your most anticipated film? And now
Um,
begins the reign of A24.
I didn't realize this one was A24, but I'm happy for Jane Schoenbrunn then.
Hmm.
This is her sophomore film, her first film, which I think also premiered at Sundance.
It
Correct me
was
on that if I'm wrong. It's called
World's
We're All
Fair,
Going
right?
to the World's Fair. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was at Sundance. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I loved that. I thought it was just like this slow, very like haunting film, and she did such a good job with like such a, I don't know, small world. So I'm interested to see what she's able to do with her sophomore film with a little bit of a bigger budget with a larger cast. And it's got Justice Smith, Bridget Lundy Payne, Michael C. Verona. I think the film is, I don't know much about it other than um, two high school kids start watching a creepy late night TV show and they start to get, I guess, sucked in by it, and it gets mysteriously canceled out of nowhere, and they, I guess, investigate what happened. And I don't know. I don't know what this is going to take, what road it's going to be. I just know it's going to be creepy and unsettling, and I'm excited.
Any other comments on I Saw the TV Glow?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that We're All Going to the World's Fair didn't connect with me as much as I wanted it to, but I'd be lying if I didn't say there is serious potential in that film. I think that Jane Schoenbrunn is really good at articulating the, like, I'm not sure if this is a word, but like the consumptive media culture of my generation. And I feel like I've also just been pushing like Gen Z oriented horror for a very long time because I feel like it's really like after like Talk to Me and Skinamarink, I feel
Hmm.
like it's really, ramping up and especially at the Scream reboots too. And I think Jane Schoenbrunn is a really great force to lead that charge, but I feel like she needed a bigger push than We're All Going to the World's Fair had. So to
Hmm.
have A24 behind her, I feel like we're about to watch a very promising career blossom.
Yeah, my only other comment is Emma Stone is producing this film.
She
So I'd
That's
is?
true.
really like to
Yes.
see, yeah. So really like to see Emma kind of embracing that eccentric, weird side of her with since her partnership started with Yorgos. So
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
excited for this
exactly.
actually.
That's a really really good point. I think that Emma Stone as a producer can really. I mean that's the thing. I think I agree with a lot of what's being said with the potential that We're All Going to the World's Fair had. I'm kind of like Luca. I didn't connect with it as much as other people did, but I can see why people connected with it, and I could see that potential. And with Emma Stone behind this, with A24 behind it, uh, I Saw the TV Glow just seems like it's going to be really good. I really think it's going to hit. So, all right. Was that all the statements about I Saw the TV Glow? Um, it's playing only in person, so that's your chance to see it is at the festival. All right, Luca, what is your number one most anticipated film?
So I'm looking forward to it's this filmmaker that I actually haven't seen any of his films, but I'm going to prior. It's this filmmaker named Aaron Schimberg, and he's doing his first A24 film, so he's pushing into the mainstream. And it's this movie called A Different Man, which is about a guy who has a physical disability, and he gets a surgery to change his look. But then when they make a movie about his life, he starts to become envious of the actor playing him. So I think it's an extremely interesting concept. It's almost like it's like weirdly Shakespearean in the sense of how it's very like seeded with envy, but also it just interests me a lot because of how the way that film treats physical deformity has always been pretty negative. And so I'm really looking forward to a more positive outlook on that whole department because like I said, like mainstream Hollywood doesn't cater to the physically disabled much. And so the person who's playing the main character, Adam Pearson, he was in Jonathan Glazer's Under the Skin, which I thought was a fantastic film. And he has,
Yes,
I
yes.
want to say,
Mhm.
10 minutes of screen time, but his scene was the most memorable of the entire film. And I'm very happy to see that he's getting more work. And I mean, and Sebastian Stan is in it, who I can always count on. and I forgot her name, Renat Rinsve, I think that's how you say it, from Worst Person in the World. I will see anything that she's in. She completely floored me in Worst Person in the World. I like everyone told me that it was a great film and it was a great performance, but I had to believe it. I had to see it to believe it, and I saw it. I did, and so I'm really looking forward to this one.
Hmm. You had mentioned watching Aaron's previous films. This is what sold me on,
Hmm.
besides the fact that it's A24, this is what sold me on A Different Man. His bio on the Sundance website says, Aaron Schimberg lives in New York. He made two commercially disastrous films, but the but the second one, Chained for Life, was well received by critics. A Different Man is his third film. Like, it's just not the most glowing bio, but
No,
this film is at Sundance, so there must be something here. There must be something
yeah.
to really make this a break in his career. I watched I had a little bit of time, and so I watched part of Chained for Life because I just had to see like
Hmm.
what made it commercially disastrous. And it at least the half of the film that I saw is kind of quieter, but I think that it speaks a lot to Luca what you're saying about physically disabled actors, and it has a really big commentary because it also stars Adam Pearson as well. So it has a lot to say about that in Hollywood, and so I'm very interested. It seems like Aaron and Adam work together a lot in filmmaking, and so I'm interested in how this movie kind of pushes that particular theme in
Hmm.
storytelling. So Matt, I'm sure you have something to say about this one. It's got your girl in it.
Yeah, she's in there. And then also shout out Under the Skin, which I think is an out and out masterpiece from the last 10
Mhm.
years. Um,
Yes.
but it says in the synopsis on the Sundance site, it evokes David Lynch.
Mhm.
So I'm really very excited for that. I'm a huge David Lynch fan. And I think those are just really the types of films that you look to see when you go to Sundance.
Very cool. Marty, any more comments on this one?
Yeah, I read the synopsis and I was like, how am I going to be able to fit this into my schedule? And I think I'm going to be able to. I'm excited. Anytime I read something and I'm like, I don't feel like I've seen this before, that's what I want to see at a festival. And
Mhm.
this I feel like it's breaking barriers in a way, I think. And so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This one is also only playing in person. So at the festival is your chance to see it. All right. Last one, Matt, and I feel like we all are pretty excited for this one. Matt, what is your most anticipated film at Sundance?
My number one is Love Lies Bleeding, which is written and directed by Rose Glass of St. Maud. That stars Kristen Stewart. Couldn't possibly be more excited for this. I saw this trailer and I'm like, outside of Dune 2, this is probably the best trailer I've seen in the last year. The synopsis reads: A reclusive gym manager, Lou, falls hard for Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder headed through town to Las Vegas in pursuit of her dream. But their love ignites violence, pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. This
Yeah.
just looks incredible. I mean,
It's gonna be
I
so
already
good.
know this is going to be a 5-star movie on Letterboxd. I don't even need to see it, to be honest. So
Yeah, yeah, we're all excited for this. Luca, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think there's anybody my age who's not rooting for Kristen Stewart right now. Or I don't think there's anybody on the planet who's not rooting for Kristen Stewart. I mean, after Spencer, I
Mhm.
mean, and side note, she deserved that Oscar. I love Jessica Chastain. She's great, but that statue belonged to Kristen Stewart. So I don't think that this is going to be a movie that's going to be Oscar worthy, but Kristen Stewart's overdue for one. So you know what? Let's give her it.
I I agree with that for sure. Marty, your thoughts?
I love the cast, but what really has got me is I saw Saint Maud in theaters like two or three times. Like it just really, really spoke to me. Like, and I can't wait to see what Rose Glass does next. Like she just had such a literally like home run hit out of the park. Like, I don't know sports metaphors, so I'm trying my best, but like she just amazing job with Saint Maud. Just there's so much subtlety, and I pick something up new every time I watch it. And I just feel like this just seems so big and so grandiose, and it's gonna have the violence. I think it's like set in the 80s, which I'm really excited for, and I just feel like it's gonna have all these different little aspects that is just gonna make me happy, and I think it's gonna just interest a lot of people.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking forward to as well, because when you look at the grand catalog of A24, they're not really like too like involved with like the thriller genre. Like you have stuff like Green Room and A Most Violent Year, but most of it's, I mean, I want to say a good chunk is horror, so I'm glad to see just a good thriller in there.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if this is like the best comparison, but we have Sundance here taking another swing at a bodybuilder film, and last year, you know, I think it hit really good. Magazine Dreams, I have not shut up about that movie. But I think that the point is that there's very interesting stories to tell in that space. And so, we have this movie. I haven't seen the trailer. Again, I try to avoid trailers before I go into it, so I haven't seen the trailer. But just off the description, reclusive gym manager, who's a bodybuilder. It's very, very similar to the character that we had.
And like and weird Ed Harris. I mean, that's very exciting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and of course, for all the same reasons that you guys are talking about, the cast, A24, Rose Glass, this has so much working for it, and I cannot wait for it. So those are the movies that we are most excited for. Of course, there is a whole lineup of other great films as well. Definitely check it out if you're attending the festival in person. This Love Lies Bleeding is another one that you can only see in person. But I strongly encourage you to check out the lineup. Take chances on movies that you may not have heard of or that maybe just sound interesting. This is really a great time to do that. And if you're here in the States, definitely check out what's available online. I think that Sundance did a really good job having a really large selection of their lineup available online for domestic viewers who are able to get a ticket for watching it online. So with that, I want to end this on a question that I was thinking about as I do awards things for the current award season and work with preparing for Sundance. What I realized is that Sundance is just one of those festivals where movies that premiere at Sundance they have that interest that can get them all the way to getting Oscar nominations. As I mentioned, docs do it all the time from Sundance. So my question is, which film at this year's Sundance do you think will have the interest and longevity and quality to make it to get nominated and win an Oscar next year? And then bonus points if you get the category as well. So we're going to log this right now. Matt, what do you think? We'll start with you.
I can actually give you two. I'll give you one doc that I think will likely be nominated, but we'll see. It's Union, focusing on Christian Smalls and the Amazon labor union movement. I just think like labor's obviously like having like a big moment right now, and I think that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. And I just think it's too relevant and too interesting not to be nominated. And then my second one, bit off the cuff, but it's called Brief History of a Family. This is in the World Cinematic Dramatic Competition, a movie coming out of China. And the kind of log line is a middle class family's fate becomes intertwined with their only son's enigmatic new friend in post one child policy China. Sounds really interesting, and it should be noted that a Chinese film hasn't been nominated for international feature since 2002's Hero. So I think it has an uphill climb, but I think it would be an interesting choice.
Good choices there. Thanks, Matt. Luca, what are your thoughts?
So I'm going to go off pattern recognition. And so we all remember the very bizarre choice to have Andrea Riseborough in the Best Actress category last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and shot in the dark, but I feel like, and I wouldn't be surprised if this year's To Leslie would be Thelma and June Squibb would get an Oscar nomination from it.
All right. That's bold. I like it.
Also, maybe Love Lies Bleeding for screenplay.
Possibly. That would be really cool. I would love for I would love for that to get all the way. I remember when we went to see Infinity Pool last year, Marty. I actually had high hopes for that one. I remember enjoying that, and maybe, screenplay, maybe Mia Goth for best supporting or something like that. But didn't quite make it, but maybe Love Lies Bleeding can get around. So, Marty, what's your thoughts?
I've got two as well. I like it feels weird to like put like all this pressure on these films before like we've even seen them. But just based off of like I don't know, track record and reading synopsis, I've got two. One for documentary, which would be the Frida documentary.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are going to be interested with that, especially because I think I read that there's going to be a lot of never before seen like footage and diary information and just a lot of unknowns from her life is going to become public knowledge. And I think that's really going to catch people's attention. And then this is just the hopeful in me is I hope that Hitman gets screenplay.
Yes, we are all hoping.
I honestly, to build off of that, I hope screenplay for sure. Glenn Powell for Best Actor, please. I think he really needs that. And you know what? Adria Arjona for supporting actress too. I'll give her that one too.
Oh, she's amazing, phenomenal.
Hmm. Yeah, good choices there. Um, I so I asked this question without any preconceived notion on what my answer would be. And so I'm sitting here as you guys are answering and trying to figure it out. And I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Hitman, I would say, is probably my most hopeful for an Oscar at this point. But you know what? I'm really thinking Love Me is going to be good. I mean, it's already a Sundance Award winner. And so I think that there's potential there. Best Picture, I don't know, but something there, screenplay for sure. I mean, that seems very possible for that. um I'm also going to take a really long shot on international film with and I don't know why, I have no reasoning for this, but I am so gravitated to Veni Vidi Vici for no reason. It feels, I mean, there's kind of this like triangle of sadness component to it, where it's talking about privilege and wealth, and I think I've just, with getting our press tickets, that was just the one that I really wanted to get a ticket for, and it's just another one of those that I really don't have a lot to build expectations on, but maybe that is keeping my expectations in the right place. And I for I'm really excited to see that one. So yeah, that's what we have to say about that. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up, guys. Thanks so much for joining me in this conversation. Like I said, as we're recording this, we are a little more than 2 weeks out from Sundance, and I cannot wait to be back in Park City. But until then, let's go ahead and wrap up. And Luca, do you have anything going on with content or anything that you want to plug before we take off?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, Sundance stuff. That's what we're focused on.
I'm plugging Love Lies Bleeding though. Everybody should watch that.
Yeah. Marty, anything you want to plug?
Just for real entertainment, watch this space. Stuff is
Yeah,
coming, and who knows? It's going to be exciting.
for sure. Matt, thank you for being a guest on this curtain raiser conversation. Anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah, just my short film that just came out. In Robbie's words, it's available on YouTube. Got into 2 other festivals, and I was very excited about those. San Pedro in California, and then the Hollywood, Florida Film Festival. So yeah.
Very cool. Yep. And like the team said, keep it here on For Real. We're gonna have lots of awesome content out of Sundance. And I also kind of want to plug an awards thing that I'm doing. Me and a friend of mine are doing a monthly series called Snubbed, where we go back and look at previous award shows and categories and correct them. It's a really fun opportunity to look back on previous award shows and really look at the winners and the nominees with the benefit of hindsight. So first episode is currently available on the website. And like I said, we're going to try to do that monthly. And there's a bunch of other stuff, honestly. So all of the links will be in the description. You can go from here and explore everything that we have going on. Until then, guys, thanks for joining me. Everyone out there, thanks for watching. And until next time, keep it for real.